Happy Wednesday. Happy favorite day of the week. Sending you a big cheers with some green tea in my mug from Austin, Texas. If you haven't already, I know the comments are exploding, which is my favorite part. So I wanted to say hi to Rachel and Robert and Kristen and Andrew and Nathan and Michelle and Helene and everybody who's able to join today. If you haven't already, we're a super fun bunch. Say hi in the chat. Would love to hear from you and hear where you're coming in from and maybe what is in your cup if you are feeling up to it today. So I'm really excited because today's session is one that I have been looking forward to for a few weeks now. And it is all about, as you guessed it, from this little line up here, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, which I think for some people can get really confusing and one of those, where can I start? And also, if you see my eyeballs kind of going like this, I'm not ignoring you. It's how I can see who's saying hi. So I can see Robert saying congratulations and Hamza coming in from Morocco and Veronica from Michigan. So if you see my eyeballs, it's because I want to see that Sheila's coming in from Toronto and what she's drinking today. So I promise I'm not ignoring you if my eyeballs go sideways. So thanks for bearing with me on that. But really excited to see so many friendly faces and so many new faces. If you are new here, we do this every single week. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we meet here to have workshops like the one that we're doing today. We meet interesting founders and executives and leaders so that we can copy all their homework and get all their secrets. So if you are new, if you came here to learn how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, great news, you can keep learning every single week at 1 p.m. Eastern. Before anyone even asks, because I know that you will, if you have to jump early, if you're not able to stay the whole time, if I speak too quickly and you're like, what did she say? I forgot. Do not worry. Have no fear. Yes, this is being recorded. Yes, you can watch this later. Yes, you can see everything that we're doing and you can see all of the notes. So there are going to be notes from today's session where we kind of recap everything that we worked on and went through. You can sign up for those by going to sendmenotes.com. They will come to your inbox. So if you miss anything, if I mention anything, that will all come to your inbox probably later this week or early next week. So if you have to run, if you have to jump, do not fear. Just go to sendmenotes.com and you will get detailed notes from today's episode, show, workshop. Also, this is an interactive session. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, things that you want to talk about, drop it in the chat so that we can go over it in real time, because I'm going to be going through this material. But if you're like, whoa, stop, slow down, I'm here for you. We're here for each other. So if you need me to slow down, speed up, have a question, don't feel like you have to wait till the end. Don't feel like you have to bite your tongue. I'll either help you, or Anya or Ken or Giacomo or somebody else in the chat will also help you. We're all here to help you. We're all here to work together. So I'm pretty excited about today's workshop, all about optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Now, we had done another workshop. So if you're like, oh, today's workshop is pretty great, I'm really liking it. We did a previous workshop all about LinkedIn. So if you attended that one, 2 thumbs up. Today will still be very helpful. And if you missed that one, don't worry, that is up and still available. You can find that on my website, kimcalp.com, and look under podcasts and find it as part of our LinkedIn episode. So if you missed that, if you couldn't catch it, don't worry, don't freak out. We got you. So let's dive on in to figuring out our LinkedIn strategy for 2022, how to optimize, how to make the most out of where we are. So I always love to give a little recap on what we are going to be doing today. I absolutely hate when I don't know what's going on. So you might be like me on that. And if you are, then today's agenda will be helpful for you. So number 1, you're going to meet me. Check. We already did that. Boom. That is great. Also, I love Rachel's note of have no fear. Kim is here. That is right. We will send you notes. Do not worry about writing them. Then we're going to go into what does optimization even mean? I know sometimes that word, people are like, what does that mean? Does that mean I filled out the profile? Does that mean it's optimized? No. So we're going to talk a little bit about what optimization actually means. We're going to cover quick visuals, things that you can look at and do immediately. We're going to go over some new features and how to implement them. So if you're like, I think I kind of got the hang of LinkedIn, you might not know about some of these new features. So don't worry, I got you. We're going to go through all of the new LinkedIn features and the ones that I think, just my humble opinion, that you should have turned on. We are also going to go over 2 big LinkedIn mistakes that I see people making all the time when it comes to optimizing their LinkedIn profiles. So we're definitely going to go over those mistakes and how you can avoid them. And then last but not least, we are going to focus on accountability actions that you can take to make sure that your LinkedIn is staying optimized and staying at the top of its game. As I was saying before, don't forget, ask questions. Holy moly. You guys, nothing makes me more upset than when I end our sessions together and I log on to LinkedIn and my inbox is filled with questions. Honestly, small tear, it makes me sad because I'm like, why didn't you ask that question when we were together? Somebody else probably had that question. We could have answered that as a group. So when I say ask questions, I am serious. Please, please ask questions in the chat. We can go over them together. Don't forget to hit the follow button on LinkedIn so that I can keep serving you and bringing you knowledge and learning because, again, I do not control the algorithm. I wish I did. And so the only way that I know to guarantee that I can get the content to you and to help you as much as I can is to make sure that we are connected to each other on this crazy platform. Last but not least, get the notes by going to sendmenotes.com. And the very last to-do of the day, set aside time to do the work. Why do I even mention that? If you are like me, you sometimes join workshops like these, or you listen to podcasts, or you read books, and you think to yourself, wow, that was such a great point. I got to remember to do that. Or yeah, I love that idea. I got to implement that. And then it's time to make lunch, and then the dog is puking, and then you have to run an errand, and it gets lost. It gets lost. You don't actually make the time to do it. You get busy, your boss calls, something else comes up, and then it either gets lost and it doesn't get done, or even worse, you forget. You forget, and you're like, oh, I remember it said to do this thing in the workshop, but what was it again? I don't even know. Set aside time right now, open up your calendar or get out your planner, whatever app you use to schedule your life, get it out and set aside time, put a little reminder, say Kim Kaupe workshop, LinkedIn profile optimizing, so that you have time, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's later today, maybe it's next week, maybe it's on the weekend, to actually implement the things that we are talking about today. Because if you do not do that, then it's kind of fun, but you don't actually implement it. Or if you're feeling really excited, you can actually implement it in real time. I know, that's kind of crazy. Like if I'm talking about it now, you could actually do it. Well, I know, a little insane. But, and Rachel's kind of going into it now about what optimization is. So that is a perfect segue. When we say LinkedIn optimization, what does that mean? What is the actual meaning when we say optimize? So for that, I wanted to ask a really easy question to start us off with, which is, do you Google people that you are going to meet before you meet them? This could be before you meet them at a coffee shop. This could be, do you Google somebody before you hop on a Zoom call with them? Do you Google somebody that your boss says, hey, next Tuesday, we're going to be meeting with the sales team. We're going to be meeting with Trixie and Jonas and Bob. And you're going, who's Trixie? I gotta Google this person. Do you Google people before meetings? I'm super curious. I really want you to think about this. Like, how often every single week are you Googling people? I'm seeing lots of yeses in the chat from David and Tessa and Heather and Ellie. Lots of yeses. And Robert is even saying, not only do I Google them, I look them up on LinkedIn. I love Tanya's point is every meeting is also a potential interview. So you betcha, absolutely, I am Googling people before I meet them. I could not agree more on that. The answer from me personally is a big fat yes. So we know that yes, you are Googling people or maybe looking them up before you meet them. But here's the next question. When was the last time you Googled yourself? So we know that you Google other people. That's a yes. But when is the last time you Googled yourself? Did you Google yourself last week? Did you Google yourself last month? Did you Google yourself 6 months ago? Or my personal favorite, have you never freaking Googled yourself and you're like, I don't even know what Kim's talking about. Why would I Google myself? I already know myself. That makes no sense. So if you're in that bucket, I'm going to explain why it makes sense, but just adding to the question, when was the last time you Googled yourself? Again, lots of answers filling the chat. Heather said she Googled herself this week. Elaine said a month ago. Elizabeth might win for the day by saying just now. I Googled myself just now. So if you're one of those that you think, oh gosh, I don't want to tell Kim that it was a year ago, maybe take one after Elizabeth and Google yourself right now. We got some yesterdays, 2 weeks ago, last month, Giacomo, that's amazing. David, 6 months ago. Danny, you are not alone by saying, oof, it has been a long time since I've Googled myself. Do not worry. It has been a long time since a lot of us have Googled ourselves. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because, as you can see, there's a huge juxtaposition that you yourself are Googling people all the time, but sometimes we forget that the coin flips both ways. And if you're Googling other people, chances are other people are also Googling you. You know, we kind of forget about that. Like, oh, right. If I'm Googling them, they might be Googling me. Why is that important? Because if people Google you, your LinkedIn results come up in Google. And a lot of people don't realize that. So I took a screenshot of my Google results just so you can see. And even though I have had lots of PR and lots of press over the years, whether it is the Forbes 30 under 30 list or the Inc. 35 under 35 list, I've had a big media presence on Shark Tank and other such shows. None of those amazing press things come up. What comes up instead in my top 3? LinkedIn. And chances are, if you're Googling yourself, your LinkedIn is also showing up on page 1. So when we talk about optimization, that is something that is so critical. And some people in the room might realize, oh, I already knew that. I know that my LinkedIn comes up. No worries. But LinkedIn went through some updates a few months back. And now not only is your profile coming up in Google results, but any articles, blog posts, video content, anything that you put up on the platform is also coming up in Google results. What does that mean? Again, using myself as an example, if you Google the words Kim Kaupe mentor, lots of things could come up, but what comes up as number 1? What comes up as number 1 is an article that I wrote that I published on my LinkedIn that says the 4 mentors you need right now. So why is this important? It is important because more than ever, Google and LinkedIn are coming together, which means optimizing your LinkedIn is going to be key in 2022 and moving forward to make sure that the results that are coming up about you are accurate, they reflect what you're doing, and most importantly, put you in the best light possible. Jen, Absolutely. Videos and live are also now coming up on Google. Again, this is a new update. I encourage everybody to kind of play around on this. Again, this is an example that I did from yesterday saying Kim Kaupe mentor. You can also see that videos on here are coming up. Coffee with Kim videos on YouTube that started on LinkedIn. So again, it's just important to know that a lot of content is coming up on Google that might be originally put on LinkedIn. So that's why it's going to be so crucial to have your LinkedIn optimized moving forward. So when somebody Googles you, they land on your Google results page and they say, oh, Melody looks like a really interesting person. Let me click on her LinkedIn profile. What am I finding? People spend on average 3 to 5 seconds looking at your LinkedIn profile. And I know that that is crazy, but it is 3 to 5 seconds. It is literally a snap that they are looking at. And the questions that we all naturally go through when we're kind of glancing, maybe we're meeting somebody for coffee, maybe we're jumping on a Zoom call, we want to look somebody up really quick. We're really asking ourselves these sort of basic human, I kind of call them caveman questions, because back in the day as caveman, we would kind of approach somebody and be like, are they going to kill us? Is this saber-toothed tiger going to attack me? We're kind of immediately judging. And if you joined 2 weeks ago and you had heard our conversation, Vanessa Van Edwards and I, whose new book Cues came out yesterday, it's all about those initial reactions about what cues are we picking up from other people. And your LinkedIn profile is sending cues. So we're instantly figuring out, okay, can I trust this person? Do we have anything in common? Maybe friends in common. Maybe we went to the same school. Maybe we worked at the same place. And they're really kind of asking, does this person look legitimate? Does this person look like a real person? Because we all know with the internet, there's fake profiles, there's bots, the sort of robot fake salespeople that fill all the social media channels, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. So we're really kind of asking like, hey, is this a real human? Is this somebody that I think that I could either work with or know, or what do we have in common? And immediately in those 3 to 5 seconds, we're sort of putting people in a yes or no bucket. So can I trust this person? Yeah, they look like a real person. Or, oh, we went to the same school, or we worked at the same place. Do they look legitimate? Or if, we think that somebody looks like a robot or a fake account, we're going, oh no, I'm not gonna waste my time with that. So we're kind of immediately going into this yes or no bucket. And that is going to be important because those immediate reactions are things that we can control and we can fix. I wanted to hop on this question really quick from Jen. Would it be beneficial to write a short article on LinkedIn and then link to my website and blog? Absolutely, 100%. Highly recommend it. Would encourage anybody to do that with any blogs that you're doing, whether it's for personal or maybe your work or anything like that. So absolutely. So again, those sort of yes and no questions of I'm instantly Googling somebody, what am I going to find? Yes or no? If, again, like a choose your own adventure, you say, okay, it's a yes. Okay, this person looks legitimate. They don't look like a bot. Maybe we went to the same school or know similar people. They work in sales like me, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Then we sort of go to the next level. If you've ever played video games, there's like level 1, and then you graduate to level 2. So if we've kind of decided, okay, this person isn't a robot, they're not like a robot online, then we move up to level 2, which is, okay, Trixie, who we're going on a Zoom meeting with next Tuesday. Trixie is not a robot. She looks like a legitimate person. Now let me sit on her profile for a good maybe 1 to 3 minutes and look up a little more about Trixie. So let me look at their work description, what she's been working on. Let me see which friends or connections that we might have in common. Or, did we go to the same school at the same time? We're sort of drilling in a little further on who this person is. But again, this isn't like a 20-minute deep dive. This is like 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes. So again, pretty quick. that people are kind of glancing over, taking assessments, kind of speed reading through what it is that you have on your profile. This is important because when we think about optimizing our profiles, we have to think about this psychological step process that people are going through and what they're going to think and see when they go through our profiles. This is important because, again, we don't want to get in that no bucket. And because when we get in that no bucket, we have people that are automatically saying no to us. We will not be selected for that interview. We will not get a call scheduled. We will not get to go to that meeting. We will hear no. We will hear no before somebody ever gets the chance to know you. No being N-O before no, K-N-O-W. Because if they take a quick look at your LinkedIn profile and they say, I don't really know about this Peter. I don't know if he's really somebody that I want to take that call with, or I don't know about this Ashwin. Seems like that's going to be a meeting that I can send my assistant on instead of me going. People are going to say no based on the results that they are finding on your LinkedIn profile. So that's why I harp like crazy about optimizing and making your LinkedIn profile the best that it can possibly be, because I don't want people to say no. And I don't want people to say no to you, because you are smart and talented and amazing. And I want people to meet you, get to know you, see how much value that you can add to their lives. And the only way that they're going to do that is if they take that call, take that meeting, set up that time, which they do based on what they find on those Google results. And I know this resonates with you because we asked and so many people answered yes to, do they Google people before meetings? So you kind of know this is true because you yourself are doing it to other people. So you know other people are doing it to you. So again, it is a hill I am ready to die on, because I go over it all the time that we do not want people saying no to you before they actually get to know you as a person. So I talk more about that in my Career Capital course. If you are new here, I run a cohort-based course. Actually, signups just opened this week for my second cohort. So if that's something that is of interest to you, you can go to careercapitalcourse.com and learn a little bit more about the program. It's 4 weeks. You and I, we work one-on-one as well as with the group, and it's super great. So Pamela, we are going to go over what creator mode is. So thank you so much, because we are hopping into that right now. Gosh. You're going to be like, was Pamela a plant? Because she segued so beautifully. I can assure you, Pamela was not a plant. It looks like she was based on this question, but Pamela, back me up. We didn't plan that. That was an all natural segue about creator mode, which is a mode that you can turn on LinkedIn. So when somebody does that for sort of quick glance at your profile, the quick glance is going to show these major characteristics. So this is, again, my profile on LinkedIn. I always like to use myself as an example, because I always say if you're going to talk the talk, you better be ready to walk the walk. So I am using my profile as an example here. First thing you're going to see, banner. This is huge. This is your free real estate. This is something that people are instantly going to see and visualize that represents you, who you are, and what you do. So this is key. If you don't have a banner, holy moly, get on it, get that in place right away, and know that you can always change it. I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't love my banner. Anything's better than nothing. Remember, done is better than perfect. Get something up there and know that you can always change it later. So if you're wondering, what do I do? To Peter's point, how do I make a banner that makes sense or is authentic to me? I always say you can think of banners in 3 different ways. Number one, maybe it's just something really personal to you. Maybe it's a quote you live by. Maybe it's a mantra that you like to use. Whatever it is, it's something very personal. Second thing that you can do with banners is if you love your company or maybe started your own business, you can use your banner to push towards your company or business. So if I own a lawn mowing service, maybe it's an ad with a logo about why everybody should be mowing their lawns by using me and my company. So push to your company. And then third and finally, your banner can indicate something specific about you and where you are in the world. So sometimes people will use their banners that if you work in New York City, maybe you're using the New York City skyline. If you're working in St. Louis, maybe you're using the arch. They will pick a photo that for most people sort of instantly represents like, oh, Big Ben, I wonder if this person is in London. Sort of those visual cues of I recognize what I'm seeing on screen. That's the Golden Gate Bridge. Probably a good chance that Nikki lives in San Francisco. So those are the three categories that I always say are kind of good go-to references when it comes to banners. If you can personalize your banner, I'm always a little bit biased towards that because if you just have maybe a rainbow, or a beautiful flower display, that's great, but it's not really telling me much about you. I don't see a beautiful flower display and go, oh, that's helpful, Pamela. Thanks so much for sharing that. A beautiful flower display, like, I don't know, not really learning much about you by that. So if you can use your banner to help people figure out something about you, that is going to be super duper key. So again, banner. Profile pictures, always good. Keep those fun, keep those fresh. Make sure they are on a clear background. It is well lit. You just want to make sure that people could recognize you if they were going to meet you in that coffee shop. Pronunciation for people like me that have really hard names. Please turn on this feature. I beg of you. There have been too many times where I butcher people's names because I do not know how to pronounce them. If you have a hard last name or first name, please turn this on. Sincerely, all of us. Number 4, connections. These are going to be key because it signals to whoever's Googling you who you know. So I cannot tell you, I had a friend the other day, and it's a friend that I went to college with. We have lots of people in common, and I happened to look up his LinkedIn profile. And even though in real life, we have probably hundreds of mutual friends after going to college together for 4 years, it came up as like 5 mutual friends. And I actually picked up my phone and texted him and was like, we should have 100 connections in common. What are you doing? And he was writing back, oh yeah, I just haven't been on LinkedIn for a while, haven't been connecting with people. Huge mistake, because if I didn't know this person and then all of a sudden I saw, oh, we have 5 friends in common versus we have 100 friends in common, that again, those sort of like instant 1 to 3 second signals, it would be like, oh wow, we have 100 friends in common. Wow, how do I not know this guy? I gotta know this guy. I gotta meet with him, or I gotta talk to him. So again, that sort of split second decision of who you meet with, who you say yes to, who you say no to. Please make sure if you have connections, people you used to work with, family members, that's a good kind of tricky one that people forget about, or even ex-coworkers, people that you used to work with. Please connect with them on LinkedIn. It's just like a huge, really fast, spot on way that people can know who you know and who you connected with. Should you add anything else to this section, like your resume, etc.? Honestly, we'll get into that in a little bit, but just to kind of jump the gun a little bit, I would say try to optimize as much as you can for the platform instead of uploading things from other places. So we'll touch on that in a little bit. Will there be steps on how to edit these features in the notes? Yes, and we'll also go through that a little more, Heidi, in the next slide. So here we go. Actually, I lied, 2 more slides. But this next slide that we're going to go through is new features that you can turn on. This is so important. New features that you can turn on. There is a new feature called a video profile. So that is anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds of a sort of welcome message, if you will, that you can upload to welcome people to your page. The best description that I have for this is if anybody has seen the movie Harry Potter and seen how the images sort of come to life and then go back to flat. The people that work in the LinkedIn product team, they kind of nickname this the Harry Potter feature. So I did not totally make that up. I got that from LinkedIn themselves, who have said that they openly call it sort of their Harry Potter feature. So a video profile could be a great way to say hi, let people hear your voice, see your face, see you talking. And it's also new. Why do I talk about the new features so much when it comes to optimization? Because like a new toy, we like new, sparkly, shiny things. And so does LinkedIn, and so do the algorithms. So any of these new features, if you turn them on, it sort of signals to the platform and to Google like, this person is making updates. This person knows what's going on. So if you can hop on any of these new features, it's only going to help you when it comes to your optimization game. The next thing is a headline. The headlines have expanded. There are more characters now that are allowed in the headline than ever before. So definitely make sure to utilize as much of this headline content as possible. For me, I put that I was the founder at my company, Bright Ideas Only, a keynote speaker, a LinkedIn learning instructor, and then I'm the host of this, Coffee with Kim, the weekly live podcast. So I'm sure a lot of people have had several things going on. As Brian's point, if you've had a 30-year career, 20-year career, 10-year career, or even 2-year career, there might be lots of things that you have done. You might have started a podcast or be a photographer or be a volunteer at Boys and Girls Club of America, but also you're a marketing manager. You are lots of things. You are not simply one thing. So it is not surprising to me that so many people have used this headline to talk about all the different facets of who they are and all the different facets of what they do. So the headline is there and yours for the taking. And then last but not least, one of the new features are services. Services can be important if you are in fact offering a service. Maybe you are a copywriter or a designer or a marketing manager or a trainer or a coach. If you offer some sort of service, secretly, this is great for side hustles as well. I've seen a lot of people who by day might be a marketing manager at a bank, but sort of by night as a side hustle might be very into photo editing or might be very into copywriting. So those providing services can be really great, not only for your day job or kind of what you do the majority of the day, but can also be great if you have some sort of side project or side hustle that you work on. That providing services is going to be really a great section for you. I'm so glad that Danny brought this up because all of the features that I'm talking about today are available to you right now immediately. You don't have to pay for these. These are not some sort of upgrade. Everything that I'm talking about today, you can implement immediately. You can implement it in an hour. You can implement it later this weekend. All of these things I would love, love, love for you to turn on as soon as possible. You can do it free of charge, and it really is something that is quick and easy that you can do. So I would highly suggest you think about doing that. Another part of the new features are the talks about section. So this talks about section, you can put in things that you talk about: business, solar energy, copywriting, lawn care, whatever it is that you talk about, you can add it to this talks about section. Also, this section that is about open to work. If you are looking for a new job, if you are doing that in a public manner, I know some people, when they look for jobs, it's a little more on the down low. It's a little more on the secret sauce side. You might not want to turn this on, but if you're doing it openly, that might be a new feature to turn on. And then last but not least, activity. You can see what people are doing, liking, commenting on based on what is showing up in their activity post. Why do I talk about that when it comes to optimization? I talk about that because one, most people don't realize that that is a feature that you can turn on. And two, it can show that you're active and engaging on the platform so that when people Google you, when people land on your profile, they say, oh, wow, this Karen, she's got a lot going on, like in the e-learning space. She's commenting, she's interacting with power players. Like she must, again, that because people are looking at your profile so quickly, my friends, just even in that first minute or 2 minutes, it just kind of lets other people know, hey, they're active on the platform, they're moving, they're shaking, they're talking to interesting people. So I highly recommend it if you can to actively post, or if you don't want to post, like or comment on some other posts, just so people can see, hey, there's some interesting stuff going on. I should remark that all of these new features can be accessed by turning on creator mode. What is creator mode? That is a mode on your profile that unlocks, to Danny's earlier question, a lot of these new features. So if you were thinking to yourself, like the stuff Kim's talking about, like that sounds really interesting, you can go to turnoncreatormode.com. This can maybe be one of your homework assignments, and you will get a 15-minute instructional video from me showing you exactly how to turn everything on. And when I say video from me, I mean like I go through it step by step. Like, here's what to click. Look on the right-hand side of your screen. See that circle. Click that circle. Like I go over it in the smallest degrees. It's 15 minutes. So if that sounds interesting, you can go to turnoncreatormode.com, and that way you can turn on a lot of these features that we are talking about here today. Is it good to show these questions we ask in a chat? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think it helps everybody stay up to date and curious about what you're also asking about. So hopefully that is helpful. So turnoncreatormode.com will unlock all these things. So I'm curious, have you even heard of creator mode? I know sometimes when I say like turn creator mode on, I get a lot of like blank stares or people that are like, creator mode? What is this mode that this crazy woman Kim is speaking of? So have you turned on creator mode yourself? Number one. Or are you like, turned it on? I don't even know what you're talking about, lady. What is this creator mode? I don't really know what it is because I'm very curious to see if you yourself have turned it on. So it looks like Belinda has turned it on. Erica has turned it on. Nadia has turned it on. I'll speak for myself. I turned it on. Elizabeth has turned it on. It looks like, oh, we got some no's. This is good. Chantal, I've heard of it, but I haven't turned it on. Okay. Alberto has also not turned it on. Don't worry. That's why we're here. You can go to turnoncreatormode.com later this weekend or tomorrow, and you can turn it on. I'm seeing a lot of not yets. I love a good not yet because that means you are going to turn it on, but you just haven't gotten around to it yet. So we'd love a good not yet. So I think that would be super helpful if you haven't already done that yourself. So if you're like, man, this all sounds really good, but I really just need some help with all of this like creator mode stuff and how to optimize my LinkedIn profile. I know I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I just on Monday opened up my cohort 2 applications. We are going to be going through this together in April. We are going to be going through a 4-week program all about how to do exactly that, to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized, to make sure you are showing up as your best self, and to get those awards and honors and recognition that you so deserve and so should already be having. So I always wanted to add that if this is something that you're like, oh man, Kim, this has been on my to-do list for a while, but I just never have time, or I never can find time to commit. I sort of like, the best analogy that I give people is, if you can work out exercise on your own, that's great. But there's some of us, i.e. me, that do better with maybe a friend or a trainer or some sort of accountability partner that is going to make sure that we work out and make sure that we get the job done. So if you are like me and you're like, this all sounds great, but holy moly, I got a lot to do and I sort of need a helping hand to do it, I would love to have you consider joining. You can join in, see what it's all about, see what it is that we're up to by going to careercapitalcourse.com. So just throwing that up there, that if it's something that you want to do together, I'm all about doing it together as well. So why is this important? It is important to optimize your LinkedIn because it's sort of like a puppy. And if you don't train a puppy, then it poops on the rug. So we sort of have to train LinkedIn, because if we don't, it's not going to be good. People are not going to like what people find about us, and we're not going to be in control of it. So I'm thinking that it's one of those things that you really got to train it as if you would a puppy. And I love that Nathan is trying to do all of these updates in real time. Gold star to Nathan for doing it in real time. If you don't want to do it in real time, don't worry, you can do it later. I will have all of this set up for you. So what are some easy ways that you can optimize immediately? I always say easy to start off with is number one, update your profile. That is just sort of a 101 baseline, update your profile. How can you do that? You can go do that by going to helpmylinkedin.com. You can download sort of the 5 very quick ways that I suggest that you update your profile. That's quick, that's easy. Again, that's sort of kind of cleaning up the house. Number 2, which we already talked about, turn on creator mode. I cannot kind of stress that enough. Turn on creator mode. I would love to see you do that if you haven't already. Again, you can go to turnoncreatormode.com and find a step-by-step instructional video from me showing you how to do that. And number 3, sort of easy optimization, is Google yourself regularly so that you can figure out what's coming up about you. Because again, so many times I talk to people and I say, well, what are people finding about you? And they say, I don't know. I haven't Googled myself. I have absolutely no idea what people are finding. I'm not saying this is something you have to do every week, but maybe like once a quarter, sort of remind yourself that like, hey, I need to Google myself to figure out what other people are seeing about me. So if you can, really as much as you can, try to Google yourself regularly so you can see what's going up. Also, special shout out to everybody who has been dropping links and helpful resources in the chat. That's why I always stress that coming live is so important. So if you are here live, you are getting all those resources. If not, we'll send them to you via the sendmenotes.com. So that's sort of easy optimization. Again, one-stop shop, just basic, clean up the house, get your profile in order. Second way that you can very easily start to optimize is you can piggyback on like-minded individuals. What does that mean? That means find like-minded people, or maybe people that you look up to in your industry. Could be power players, could be your boss, could be your old boss, people that you think, hey, they are smart and they have cool things going on. So again, I always like to use myself as an example. I really enjoy the content that Jason Pfeiffer puts out. Jason is the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. He's always talking about entrepreneurship and business and starting your own business. So I really like that content. I find it very valuable. So an easy way to optimize my profile is that I can like and comment and ask questions or tag a friend on Jason's material. It's nothing that I have to do myself. I don't necessarily have to do a blog post. I can sort of cheat off of Jason's homework. New feature alert. LinkedIn has made it even easier to copy other people's homework, which we love. So LinkedIn has a new way that you can cheat and copy other people's homework by liking and commenting and engaging on their stuff by this alarm bell feature. So you might have seen this on people's profiles. It's located on the far right-hand side, kind of right below the very corner of their banner. It looks like a little alarm bell. You can click that little alarm bell and you will get notifications anytime that that person posts or puts anything out on the LinkedIn platform. So it's an easy way to subscribe to posts. This is a new feature that they just rolled out a couple weeks ago. So again, if you're like, hey, this has been really helpful, this LinkedIn mini workshop has been really helpful, Kim, that would be me, is always kind of trying to put out helpful things, updates that are going on. I want to stay up to date. You can go on my profile, click that little alarm bell, and anytime that I put out helpful content, such as this LinkedIn Live, you will know about it by getting a notification on the platform. So that is going to be a new feature that is very helpful for you to consider and look at. Before you click that alarm bell, just ask yourself, does this person post valuable information? Do I think that I would learn something by consuming the content that they are posting? Number 2, am I okay being associated with them? Why do I say this? Again, because when it comes to optimization, we're all kind of in this algorithm together. If Kim is commenting and liking and associating a lot with Andrew, then the LinkedIn algorithm and the optimization will say, Kim and Andrew are connected, because again, the algorithm is sort of always learning. So when you're liking and commenting on posts or content, you have to think to yourself, do I want to be associated with this? Is this something that if my boss saw that I made this comment, or my boss saw that I liked this post, how would that go over? So am I okay being associated with them? And then last but not least, can I add to this conversation? That is another point that is going to be so helpful. So ask yourself those questions. We just got the question of how do I turn on the alarm bell? You can turn on the alarm bell. I'm going to pull up the slide right here. It's located right at the bottom right-hand corner below the banner. You can turn that on for other people's content by simply clicking on it. So you can go to their profile, see it on their profile, and click it, and it will subscribe you to their content. So again, just kind of like a helpful resource if that's something that you are thinking about. I'm really excited to jump into the LinkedIn no-nos, things that you should stay away from. Do not pass go. Do not do these things. Goodness gracious, please, whatever you do, don't do it. Number 1, don't set it and forget it. This is an example of somebody whose profile I had sort of clicked on the other day. She's doing a lot of interesting work. And I was like, oh, wow, she looks so impressive. This is so cool. And I got down to her featured section and I noticed that her featured section had not been changed in over a year, which is, you can see it say like 1 year next to like the published or the linked. And it just sort of set off alarm bells of me of like, okay, either she hasn't done anything interesting in a year, which I highly doubt because she's a very accomplished person, or to me, it means that she's sort of ignoring the platform. And why would she be doing that? So again, that sort of set it and forget it mentality, not going to work when it comes to optimizing your profile. Remember, you have to constantly be updating, feeding the bear. There's all these cool things that you might be doing. I'm not saying you have to update your LinkedIn profile every week. Don't freak out. But I'm saying like once a quarter, once every 6 months, you just kind of want to give it a little refresh. You know what I mean? We just don't want it to get stale and something that's sort of never changing. We're getting a lot of questions about the bell. I've not seen the bell on my profile. This is something that I also think that LinkedIn should change, which is just quite funny. You can't see the bell on your own profile. I don't know why. Don't ask me why they did this, but other people can see it on your profile. I know this makes no sense, but for some reason you can't see it, but other people can't. And I guess I'm so happy that this point got brought up. the alarm bell might not be active where you are located in the world. So this is a new feature that's getting rolled out in real time. I always want to bring you like the biggest and brightest and fastest information. So just know that it might not be rolled out yet, depending on where you are in the world. So just wanted to add in those points there. Thank you for those amazing points and questions. So we went over the number one no-no, which is just sort of setting it and forgetting it and just saying like, well, I updated my LinkedIn profile in May of 2020 and now I never have to update it again. No, it's March of 2022. It's been 2 years. You got to be updating it more than that. Second big no-no is what I like to call a messy house. Messy houses are no-nos. We don't want to see those. So what do I mean by that? This is just a quick example of an about section. Which one are your eyes automatically drawn to? Usually it's the first one because it is cleaner. It's not big lumps of copy. There's bullet points, there's spacing, there's short sentences. They're easy to consume. That's just sort of messy house mentality of just a lot of stuff globbed together. People are not going to read it. And again, especially when we're talking about 3 to 5 seconds on your profile, or at most 1 to 3 minutes on your profile, we really want those sort of quick hits, quick bites, clean houses, things that people can see and understand really quickly. So those are the two biggest no-nos that I see people make all the time when it comes to LinkedIn. Don't set it and forget it, and don't have a messy house. I touched on this point earlier. I know I said I only wanted 2 no-nos, but I kind of came up with a third no-no. It's not totally a no-no. It's more of a, but you got to do it, which is you have to make time to make these updates. If you don't make time, it will not get done. I know that you are a busy person. You have a lot going on. In addition to your work, you also have your personal life, your friends, your family. Maybe you have a dog or a cat or a hamster or a pet of some sort. There's just a lot of animals and humans that require your attention. And so if you do not make time for this, if you do not schedule it in your calendar, it will not get done. It does not matter if you listen to this and say, wow, that Kim was so smart. I want to turn on creator mode. I want to optimize my LinkedIn profile. If you don't set time to do it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it won't get done. So that is something that I am so passionate about, that you are really busy and I know you. And if you don't schedule it, it won't happen. Treat it like a meeting with yourself. It's important, and it's important to the work that you do every single day. So make time for it in your calendar and do not cancel on yourself. It can be very easy to cancel on ourselves. We're not going to cancel on our boss. We're not going to cancel on our friends. We're not going to cancel on our teammates or our family members. But oh man, when that fifth one, canceling on ourselves, we love that. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Do it next week. I just won't do it at all. Don't do that. Do not cancel on yourself. Make time to actually do this work. So if you want to keep learning with me and keep doing this together, I know I used the example earlier of sort of a workout partner or a workout trainer. If you would like me to help you with this and work with you and get some insights, you can look into my second cohort of my Career Capital course. You can apply. You can go to kimcalp.com and read more about what's going on there, because that could be something that is very helpful for you. If you want to stay up to date on more content than I am putting out, we talked about it earlier, you can click the follow button or click the little alarm bell that we've been talking about on my profile. Why do I mention this? I mention this because all the time I get messages to my inbox of people being like, this didn't show up, or I didn't get the alert. I don't control the algorithm. I wish I could. There are people that join this, that they come in and they're like, well, why wasn't I sent the follow-up? I can't help. Like, if you're not following me, or you don't have those alarm bells turned on, or you don't go to send me notes, I'm just lost. I can't help you. So turn on those things so that I can access you and send you all the results and the helpful materials. And then As always, like I mentioned earlier, 1 p.m. Eastern every single week, we are here. If you're like, this workshop was helpful, this content is helpful, let me just tell you, the good times keep on rolling. You can go to getcoffeewithkim.com and see more information about workshops we're having and interesting people that we are meeting. So for example, next week, next Wednesday, we are meeting and sitting down with Dory Clark. If you have not already looked up Dory Clark, holy moly, you definitely should. She has a bestseller book that's out right now called The Long Game. She's one of the top LinkedIn learning instructors. I think she had like the top 5th most watched course in all of 2021. She is such a powerhouse, works at Harvard. It's a whole thing. So I'm really excited to be sitting down with her. Why do I encourage you to join live? Because I shouldn't get to have all the fun. I can ask Dory questions all day long because I think she's so fascinating. But you should be able to ask Dory questions because maybe you think Dory is fascinating too. So if you come back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I will be here with Dory and you so that we can learn from Dory together, which I think is so much fun and so important. So again, you can go to getcoffeewithkim.com and it will show you the full schedule of who we have coming up because that is going to be awesome. I love that Elizabeth is also really excited for Dory Clark. And so is Jen, because I think Dory's freaking awesome. So I'm really excited for that because she's such a powerhouse and I can't wait to just copy all of her homework and learn from everything that she does. So hopefully this mini workshop was helpful for you. And hopefully these resources are something that you can use, things that you can turn on, things that you can do to help you optimize your LinkedIn profile and show up on LinkedIn in a more meaningful way as we get into 2022 and as you think about new opportunities when it comes to work or your career or making advancements in your everyday life. So I know I tried to finish with at least 4 to 5 minutes early. I wanted to finish 5 minutes early, but I didn't get quite there. So if there are any extra questions, things that you're like, gosh, I have one more question about like that, drop it in the chat. If not, if we can't get to your question, don't worry. You can send me a follow-up message on LinkedIn or on Instagram or any of the social medias, and I will answer them as best I can about these new features when it comes to LinkedIn, because I think that that is always super helpful. So I just wanted to thank Trish and Christian, all these people that have joined and hopefully got some helpful information about how to navigate the LinkedIn profile. So again, if you have a question, I'm here. If not, send me a DM. I'm Kim Kaupe on all of the social media platforms, not just LinkedIn, but Instagram and everything else. So I wanted to say a big, big thank you for joining me today and learning a little bit more about how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and show up as your best self. So I am sending you a very big cheers. The caffeine, it just hits so well. Sending you a very big cheers from Austin, Texas. I hope that you have an amazing end of the week. And I will finish by answering Jen's lightning round question of something that I am learning right now. I am almost done learning the amazing work of Vanessa Van Edwards, who joined us on the podcast 2 weeks ago. I'm almost done reading her new book that came out yesterday called Cues, learning how to give off my own cues and then also read cues from other people. So I am learning all about those small little gestures and what they mean and how to decode those from other people. So that is something that I've actively been learning about the last 2 weeks since I got an early copy of her book, but I also got a hard copy that I bought via Amazon. So that is something that I've been really excited to learn more about because, you know, you always just want to show up as your best self, no matter where you were. So I think that that's really important. So again, thank you so much. I know you're busy. You have a lot of stuff going on today. Take charge for the rest of the week. You got this. Sending you a big cheers from Austin, Texas. And I cannot wait to see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern here with Dory Clark. So thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the week.